Hello everybody, I am TechnoVoid, your host and guy who would rather be playing Celeste Strawberry Jam right now, and with me is Hamsterwings, your favorite Pokemon analyst and also guy who would rather be playing Celeste Strawberry Jam right now. And welcome to week 2 of TDD Season 6.
Here we are.
Here we
week
are.
2, and we got 2 battles.
2 battles, and we're not playing Strawberry Celeste Jam, that's what it's called. Let's get straight into it with Juice versus Burnt in this first match of the week. Tell me about these teams.
So everyone is terrified of one Pokemon on this team preview.
Klefki, he's pretty terrifying.
Yep, it's Klefki.
It's Klefki.
Known prankster user. Doesn't have swagger, luckily, because it's banned. No, it's Annihilape.
Oh, it's the ape. I barely even saw him back there.
Yeah.
Tell me, why is this ape so scary? What is it about this ape that makes it so good?
It does a lot of damage.
Cool. How does it do a lot of damage?
And it's pretty tanky.
Nice. How is it doing that?
With its nice little single target move, Rage Fist.
I see. And that's a ghost type move, right?
Yep.
I see.
But you see, he is a fighting type.
Ah, okay.
So normal types don't simply counter it.
Interesting. So, what would you do if you saw an Annihilate perchance, if you were burnt, for example?
Well, I already talked with Burnt about this, just privately, because he wanted feedback. So I said probably the best way that he could have dealt with it is running Protect Disable on Dragapult, and then Annihilate literally cannot touch him. Like, it literally can't do damage to Dragapult at all.
I guess that's true. We'll see in a bit here. Burnt ends up going for the taunt on it. How do you feel about that as a strat here?
I think Taunt is fine, but I think you need to have a plan. If you taunt it and say it's shut down, I think that's a little too short-sighted.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Alright, but enough about Annihilate. How are we feeling about Burnt's team going into this?
I mean, I love the classic Kanga Dragapult Grimmsnarl. Like, those are big boys and women, because Kangaskhan is always female.
Mm-hmm.
And I like the rest of the team too. Primarina, Moltres, Gligar. Moltres, you know me, tried and true. I love that Pokemon.
Mm-hmm, for sure.
Looking at Juice's team, it's like you can't just worry about the Annihilate. There's a Mega Mence there. There's a Heatran.
Yeah, Heatran did not come last week, but it is definitely here, and it is definitely a threat, especially paired with that Mega Mence. They have very, very good pivot power for each other.
Yep.
Alrighty. Let's hop on into it and see how this plays out. So we're leading with the Mega Mence, or the regular Mence and the Rotom. Get a nice Intimidate off to start.
Yep. It doesn't really matter here to one special attacker, one utility boy.
Mm-hmm. Leading with a couple protects here.
Going for the Protect, I don't like Protect next to Fake Out. Just in general. I don't like it.
Yeah, I feel like if you're faking out, you want to use that turn for something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, here we got the Parting Shot. Okay, Parting Shot onto Mence, pretty solid strat there, but the Mence counteracts with the Dragon Dance, which gives a nice little speed boost. Honestly, good use of Electro Web here. These turns.
I mean, I don't love Primarina coming in here, because Rotom is just going to kill it.
Right. Here we have another Protect. And to return, notably not Mega'd, so that return would not have done very much.
Yeah.
No Aerolite there.
Tailwind goes up.
See the Tailwind. And immediately Grimmsnarl switches back in. A double switch right after a Tailwind. That, I mean, it could work.
I kind of like the switch into Moltres. Just assume the attack is going to go off the same as last time.
Mm-hmm.
Switching in Moltres to potentially burn it.
Yep. Doesn't quite go through. More protects here.
Yeah, again.
Fake out.
Not a fan.
We're losing precious Tailwind turns here.
I believe the play was fake. I think the play I would have made is Fake Out Mence, Scorching Sands, Heatran.
Okay, another double switch, or rather a switch and a Parting Shot.
Yep.
We bring in Moltres. And So unfortunately at this point, an entire Tailwind has gone through and didn't really do much with it.
Yeah, there is a distinct lack of attacking.
Yeah, here we have a choice Scarf, which is going to heavily reduce Gligar's ability to stay in this fight and even really do much, because I'm not sure it has an attacking move. As we see, it does immediately switch out. Although now I think Burnt's in a pretty good spot getting that Scorching Sands off. We do have 3 turns of Tailwind. Of course, bringing it into the Primarina is a bit spooky, but Rotom is immediately going to go out.
Yep.
Into, there it is, the Ape.
Yep.
Now,
Annihilate comes in here. I think no matter what, you want to Moonblast it. It's gonna protect. You know it's gonna protect. I think you want to Moonblast it anyway.
Yeah, just one little point here. This what was it? Scorching Sands that we saw in this turn. Yeah. That was, I think, the first real attack Burnt pulled off this match. Burnt, I love you. I think there is something to be said for pivoting and, you know, sort of scouting out the opponent's moves. If it's been 8 turns and the only damage you've done is through Fake Out and you've had 2 Tailwinds up, I think maybe you need to go a little bit more offensive there. Because Juice... Yeah?
Yeah, I think the big thing was, like, getting stuck in that, like, support pivot loop.
Right, yeah. Yeah, I think...
At some point, you just gotta bring out the dealers.
Yeah, I mean, both Moltres and Primarina, I think, had both very, very decent shots at being sort of offensive presences, and it, you know, switching them out at certain points did make sense because there were things in that threatened them. But at this point, Juice has essentially spent the past 8 turns getting a lot of Burnt's Pokemon pretty low, and Juice is pretty much at full right now, with the exception of Heatran. And now Annihilate is out, and things are gonna start going downhill. So I just wanted to note that I think a slightly more offensive pressure may serve you well. As we pull up into the Mousehold, of course, this is a very scary duo that we're very familiar with.
Taunt into Annihilate, and I believe Moonblast into Annihilate also.
No,
Scald into Mousehold.
That was a Heatran before,
okay.
But yeah.
I get that.
Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah, I think that's a fair turn.
But now this turn, you know that Annihilate can't protect. At worst, it's gonna bulk up because Mousehold's gonna follow me.
It didn't. It used beat up.
No, I'm saying at worst.
Oh yeah, at worst, yeah.
So you definitely want to double Annihilate this turn.
Yeah.
And if it gets redirected to Mousehold, cool. You kill Annihilate next turn.
Exactly. Because nothing goes down because Annihilate doesn't have any Rage Fist stacks at that point.
I'm not sure if Grimmsnarl had Spirit Break, but if it did, click Moonblast, that Annihilate's gone.
Now we have the Follow Me, and here we have the very, very, very fun switch into Kanga. I was questioning this a little bit during the match when it was live, but then I saw the switch and I was like, oh, that's great. Yeah, you just ignore that Rage Fist. That was a good play.
Yep, and if you have disabled Dragapult in this point, Annihilate becomes a dead slot.
Yeah. Here we continuing to see the Follow Me, which makes a lot of sense. Getting the Power Up Punch, very nice, because Annihilate, it can Drain Punch, but that's about it. And like, yeah,
dealing 60 to a normal type is not good.
Like that's not that threatening. Sure, like another one will kill it, but at this point you are at 1.5 attack, you have more speed. Like, I definitely think this is a really good chance to put Juice on the back foot. Problem is he does have that Mence in the back. But at least in terms of dealing with this Annihilate.
And I mentioned I don't like the Terra Electric Dragapult too. I really think Annihilate's here. Annihilate's a threat. It's not going to Terra into something that resists Ghost. Just go Terra Ghost.
I think that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, what would the Electric be for? Was the Electric predicting the Terra Water?
Yes. It was.
I see. I want to just... Props on this turn here. Props on the Trick Room. I was not expecting the Trick Room to pop out, but... Like,
yeah, that came out of nowhere.
It came out of nowhere,
this turn.
And I think it was a really, really, really good play. Because at this point, Burnt does, despite sort of how the field looks right now, does have a really good position against Annihilate right now. But this Trick Room for the next 4 turns absolutely turns things around. Because Burnt doesn't really have any way to deal with this besides like Grimmsnarl, and that's only temporary.
Yeah.
So we see the Protect come back out. Reflects here, and Yeah,
Again, not gonna kill.
Kanga living that is insane. We're here for it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, at this point, worrying about attacking the Annihilate feels kind of like a pointless endeavor, because this thing already has like a 450 base power Rage Fist. The difference between 450 base power and 500 base power not going to make a difference. Yeah. So
Yeah,
was
I think
that
it also caps out at like 350 anyway.
Yeah. Was that a switch into the Grim?
Yes.
That was a switch into the Grim. I don't agree with that. I feel like you can't switch when you have that Annihilate so high. I feel like you have to hit it really hard.
Trying to stall through Trick Room for sure.
I guess so, yeah. Yeah, I guess
But
at that point you don't need it.
One like slightly advanced thing that I mentioned to Burnt is that I actually don't like Parting Shot on Grimmsnarl in this match, because, I mean, Parting Shot obviously isn't only for Annihilate.
Yeah.
But
Doesn't Annihilate get Defiant?
that is one of its abilities, yeah.
Okay, I was gonna say, like, that's risky.
Yep. But not only that, Grimmsnarl's the only thing you have that's like resists Rage Fist and is neutral to fighting. So you don't really want it to leave if Annihilate's unboosted.
Right. Yeah, you want it to stay in. What does it? I guess yeah. Spirit Break is a solid move to use against it.
Again, Spirit Break is scary because of Defiant, but like
Yeah.
you gotta double it down.
Yeah. Defiant lowers what? It lowers attack.
What?
Not Defiant. Sorry, not Defiant. Spirit Break.
Spirit Break lowers special attack.
Special attack. Okay, so it's not useful on that front, but yep. Anyways, so the Rotom comes out here. Still, even without the Eviolite, just kind of tanking that. The Defog here to get rid of the Reflect. And at this point, we have one turn of Trick Room left. Just gotta kind of live through it. Interesting that Juice goes for the bulk up there. Yeah,
definitely a read, but
yeah,
Juice is quite ahead, so
yeah,
can afford to make those.
Yeah, at this point, even if Annihilate did go down, Megaments I think is fully capable of finishing this match out with like Klefki support.
A good Dragon Darts there.
Yeah.
Smart targeting on the Dragon Darts makes it double into the Rotom.
Mm-hmm. And here's the Klefki. The Klefki's back. Now
Klefki coming out is kind of nice because Dragon Darts will double into the Annihilate now.
Yeah. And kill the
obviously unforeseen Terra Steel.
Yeah.
So
I think the reason maybe I'm wrong about this. I feel like the target into Klefki there was just for differential.
It might have been. I'm not sure.
It's hard to tell. I think Burnt has already figured that winning this match seems like it's going to be a tough thing. So it might have been a differential thing. Otherwise, I'm not quite sure why you would go for the Klefki there instead for the double down, especially when you're seismic tossing, which won't kill Annihilate.
Well, I'm pretty sure Annihilate was still a ghost type on that turn. At the start of the turn.
I'm not sure then. Maybe it was the double into Klefki. Anyways, that is the match. I know I said this at the beginning. I want to reiterate. I know it sounded like we sort of pounded down on Burnt a lot for some of the plays. This is all in the interest of education and sort of learning to play to your win cons, right?
Yep.
I think there were several opportunities here that Burnt had to sort of flip that match. I think there was actually a point where even though Burnt was behind, the match was in his favor, just in terms of how the field played out. But Juice, I think, played very well with the Trick Room. Obviously, the Annihilate Mousehold is a very scary combination. To be clear, we are not saying don't be scared of Annihilate. It is a freaky mon, especially paired with the Mousehold. It's just, there are other threats on the team, and there are ways to deal with it. We promise it's not ban-worthy.
Yeah.
Is basically all we're saying.
Like, Prankster Thunderwave Grimmsnarl would have shut it down. Hitting the Will-O-Wisp on it would have shut it down a little bit. Not a lot, but a little bit. Just hitting it with Disable killed it. So, Yeah,
there are certainly ways.
There's options.
There are definitely options. But either way, I think honestly, fun match to watch. Watching Annihilate just kind of go ham 2 matches in a row at this point. It's a mood. I felt the need after the second match of this thing popping off to just explain why it does belong in A tier. But regardless, let's pop into the second match of the week, which is going to be Diggory versus Egg playing. Tell me about these teams.
So, I see 2 kind of interesting teams, and I see that Great Tusk is out of order, so I'm mad.
Can't believe this. Can't believe this. Continue.
But, no S tier on Egg's side, which is interesting.
That's the Shaman.
Yeah. No Shaman. It makes a little bit of sense. I love Brute Bonnet into this game.
For sure.
I think if you look hard enough, you'll see that Egg playing team is Trick Room. But I don't think it looks like that initially just because of the Typhlosion. But the Typhlosion's slow.
That's true.
So, Diggory kind of bringing, old reliable, those first 4, old reliable. Bisharp is, I think it makes sense here. There's a lot of psychic types. And Salazzle, I'm not super sure what Salazzle does, other than like fake out support, help you stall out Trick Room and stuff like that.
I mean, it's got a pretty strong fire hit for
yeah,
Brute
it's got fire and poison for Shaman and Brute Bonnet, yeah. So no, it's good.
I feel like it's pretty decent, yeah. Going into this, who do you feel has the sort of the upper hand in the match, and who's gonna have to sort of play out the win con better?
I think Egg is a little reliant, not hugely, but a little reliant on Psychic Terrain, which is gonna be hard against a probably lead Bisharp.
And a Finny.
Yeah.
Maintaining that.
Finny, like, Bisharp's gonna chunk the NDD, and then Finny's gonna come in and replace it, and NDD's not gonna be able to come back in.
Looking at Terra types this match, because last week with Egg we saw sort of the Terra ground ending up sort of being a nail in the coffin for Egg. What do you think about Terra types for this match? Great Tusk obviously really struggles against Psychic Terrain. So what do you think these 2 should go for?
Well, I know what they do go for,
right?
But Great Tusk, I would have liked to see maybe Steel if he weren't afraid of Typhlosion, but I mean that's still scary because Brute Bonnet's gonna close combat you. Brute Bonnet is basically beating whatever this thing can tear into, other than flying.
Flying, right? And then for the Necrozma, I think this is what it goes for. I think the Psychic just works well.
Yeah, I think Terra Psychic is fine here.
Boost that Psychic.
Keeps your weakness. I know the Necrozma has weakness policy.
Alrighty. Alright, well let's pop on into the match. What is the lead here? So is it the Latias by Sharp? It is.
Yep. Lottie and Bisharp.
Psychic Surge. Psychic Surge next to a thing that likes to use Sucker Punch. Very interesting.
So it's... Oh wait, Brute Bonnet? Are you talking about Brute Bonnet?
Yes.
Brute Bonnet isn't carrying Sucker Punch.
Oh, well they both by Sharp and Brute Bonnet.
Yeah, CC into the Lottie, but thanks to a wonderful new mechanic, you can't ally switch multiple turns in a row. Now that Trick Room's up, that Lottie's gone.
God, goodbye.
Huge early kill.
Yeah, that's pretty big. The heal pulse failing there. Honestly, I think Egg making a great choice of saying, "Hey, this Brute Bonnet, it's gonna do great things," and just kind of pumping resources into it at this point.
Yeah, I agree with healing it just in case.
Yeah, just in case.
Like it's just worth it.
And the Sucker Punch gonna take out. That makes a lot of sense. You don't have the terrain up anymore. And goodbye. Brute Bonnet putting in the work. Great Tusk is still up.
I'm a little surprised it didn't actually go for heal pulse, but I think after the second Spadef drop from close combat, it would have died anyway.
I mean, it might have gone for heal pulse. You got Sucker Punch. Oh yeah, you got Sucker Punch. You're right.
Yeah, you can't heal pulse.
Can't heal pulse. True.
Right, Finny comes in. Pretty good Mondo wall here. No way to stop Typhlosion here. There's kind of no more switch-ins to it, and it's gonna do damage.
I mean, I guess the Tusk kind of.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing was he kind of needed Latias for it,
Yeah.
or Tusk needed to come in like now.
Mm-hmm.
Tusk coming in now would have been pretty good, I think, because Misty Terrain Eruption won't random burn. At least not before Terra's.
Yeah,
And
sort
then
of.
at that point, you probably just don't Terra.
So saving the Great Tusk for the end here, I think, makes a lot of sense because you are getting that Tailwind up. I think Diggory at this point is fully aware that he's about to be double downed, and it is a 1v4.
I still think Tusk needed to come in earlier.
Okay, yeah. At this
It's
point,
like, well, it's gonna do good things here. Like, it's doing damage.
yeah. So we lose that expanding force. We can still take a chunk, but Typhlosion is gone. It is now a 3v1. We have 2 turns of Tailwind left. This is basically Diggory's last hurrah, but unfortunately, Mega Audino is just too tanky.
Yeah.
For this.
Plus, it has Ice Beam for
Ugh,
some reason.
That's some kind of call. That's some kind of prep, baby.
And this turn, Diggory hopes for a crit, as that is his win con. Doesn't get it, and the negative Spadef makes Tusk go down to the Ice Beam.
Overall, really, I mean, yeah, solid play from Egg. Really good use out of Brute Bonnet and Typhlosion there. 2 mons that I don't think are immediately obvious on how to use well. Typhlosion obviously seems pretty obvious on how to use well. You use Eruption a lot, but in sort of the trick room, I think there was a bit more thought that had to be put into it. Think Egg did a good job with that. Not bringing the S tier, still kind of a sort of interesting situation on that front, but it ended up working out. Didn't even need the Psychic Terrain up for most of the match. On Diggory's side, sort of, what are you thinking? Where did things sort of? What was the flip point here?
I think preserving Lottie would have helped a lot.
Mm-hmm. So once that trick room got up, getting it out of there, switching out for something.
Yeah, I don't think Finny was available to come into that slot on that turn, but Tusk could have. It would have ate, no problem.
Uh-huh.
I think there were a couple of times that Great Tusk could have come in and kind of like stopped Egg's momentum.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, Egg basically relying on two, honestly 3 pretty substantial sweepers, and it worked out for him. When we were doing the season overview, Egg's team was not one of the ones that I was immediately thinking like, oh yeah, this team is full of sweepers. This team is full of like a decent amount of offense, but seems like that's how Egg's playing. So just something to keep in mind.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
We'll see.
Yep. All right.
Unorthodox.
Any other matches that have happened thus far this week that you think are worth pointing out? Just any notes?
There were a lot of matches this week.
There are exactly 8 every week, but not all of them have happened.
Yeah. I just mean there were like 4 today.
Yeah, that's true. Soon to be 5.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of them we just didn't have something like to take away from them.
Yeah.
But they were all fine matches.
Alrighty. Well, that is gonna be it for us. If you enjoyed the video, I don't know, say something nice, cause why wouldn't you? It's, do it. Put good out into the world, Anyways, I've been Technovoid. This has been Hamster Wings. We will see you with week 3 when I get to fight the other 2-time champ. Great. Okay. Goodbye.
Goodbye.